and they think that, you know what, it's kind of like this contra, because they feel like they're being oppressed, so it's like a response.
They're displaying a level of apathy that isn't very palatable.
Yeah, for sure. What's that?
That's right, hypothetically.
Whose definition I got?
He just said it. Be quiet.
He wins. Steve wins. Yay, Steve.
I told you all I could satisfy the burden of proof.
Alright, so yeah, that's his definition. But I would just say
Oh, fuck, yes, those is back.
that the first part,
Those, go onward.
Unidentifiable.
is a little problematic. Because
Okay.
you should not be able to have a definition
little
of something that has no identity.
A little problematic?
No,
Well-
basically, he should have a definition because
Well, I don't,
unidentifiable.
Tim, if my definition is wrong, please correct me. Define
No,
God.
it's not that it's wrong, it's self-contradictory. In other words, what I'm saying is...
Tim, question, before you move
all
on.
of your definitions
Question.
are contradictory.
Tim, if it's not wrong, then it's right.
No, self-contradictory means it's meaningless.
Tim, you said my definition is not wrong, therefore it's right.
No,
I'm holding.
what about it being neither?
But you didn't say that. You said it wasn't wrong.
If you listen, I'm telling you.
I am listening, Tim.
You're not listening enough, obviously. Basically,
I told you
if
Tim is a
something is
fucking punching bag.
meaningless, it's not right or wrong.
But you didn't say it was meaningless. You said it wasn't wrong.
I didn't finish what I was saying.
Oh,
Tim
okay.
is like the theist version of Jamal. You guys know Jamal, the flat earth?
No, we don't know somebody else.
Fucking crazy flat earthers.
We don't know somebody
Tim
else.
is the flat.
Okay, so I'll say it for Tim. I'll say it for a second time.
We want to know what
If God is identifiable, please identify him. There you go.
Sense. So
That
I
makes
say
no
God-
sense.
I said that makes more sense.
Well, of course it does.
Alright, so basically, God is, and so in case you didn't understand, Uncle Steve and I been through. We had a
Yes.
debate before. We had a formal debate before.
Yes,
alright?
we did.
And it was moderated and everything. It went pretty well. So it's not like Uncle Steve doesn't know my view.
Right?
But Tim's correct. I don't know what that has to do with what we're talking about now, but Tim's right.
It's just something, a nugget I think would help other people understand.
Hey, Tim, you can give me nuggets. You can give me flowers anytime you want, baby.
It's not for you. It's not for you. Don't start trying to disrespect that. You never disrespected me before, so don't start.
I'm not disrespecting you now.
All right, so don't start cutting me off and start acting like the dummies because you know I can get dumb too. All right, so I'm trying to be reasonable with you. Like
Tim, I never act like a dummy.
All right, so let's not start. All right, so pure being.
Bro, you scared of this nigga? What the fuck?
Supreme. See him, look, he can't. He's like a child. He's like a child.
Yo, again, dude, you're the Jamal of the
You know what? Let's hear some knowledge. Let's see something. See and teach us something. Go ahead.
What do you want to know, bro? All I got is facts. What you want to know?
Is God
I guess nothing,
identifiable?
because there's literally nothing in your brain. Seriously,
This is
bro.
for you. This is for
I need to
everyone in your
introduce you to
brain.
Jamal, yo.
So I gave you the time to talk. You got silent, and you only talk when I'm talking. So I'm giving you the time to talk. Go ahead.
Again, I told you. What do you want to know?
I ain't gonna lie, y'all
Whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, forget it. Fuck
Whatever
it.
you want to say. Go ahead. This is important.
Everything you
This
said
important
is
now.
so fucking irrelevant. You're using the most baby, fucking Wikipedia level arguments. Fucking from like the 15th century, dude. We made like 500 years of progress in philosophy and theology. Like, catch up with the times, bro.
Hey, Carlos, what did you say?
I want to address something that Doge said before he left the last room. That was fucking retarded. Really retarded, but now I can't remember because that was a little while ago.
Hey, Carlos, what did you say about defining God? What did you say?
Yeah, so Steve said that God is not identifiable, so...
No, I said God is the definition of God is an unidentifiable higher power.
Yeah. So
self-contradictory. Higher power, but unidentified.
Yeah.
unidentifiable.
I've never heard
What?
a more useless
What?
definition in my life.
Well, no one's refuted me, and 5 minutes
It's
have gone.
self-contradictory. If it's higher power, you just identified it as being higher power.
Yo, even Tim got you. Come on.
Well, does anybody disagree that God is more powerful than the rest of us? Does anybody disagree with that?
That's not the point.
Yes,
The point
I
is it's
disagree. There's no such thing
unidentified.
as fucking God. The fuck?
We're talking
God
about
is
the We're talking about the definition, not whether or not he exists.
Every
about the
fucking
definition.
person has their own definition. No two people share the exact same definition. Even you get twin brothers who were raised in the same church for 40 years. Stick them in a fucking room for 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever it takes, and just have them describe their.
Well, if you don't like my definition, let's hear
your
yours.
definition is worthless, and yes.
Well,
your
let's
name
hear
is
yours.
whatever, and I'll tell you, your definition is fucking useless.
So you don't have a
And
definition, then,
you're
is that right?
embarrassing us, bro. You're embarrassing us.
Okay, well, no one is given a better definition than mine. Therefore, so far, at least as of this moment, I have still satisfied my burden of proof.
Yeah, Steve, the definition that's used.
Yo, you might as well just went with fucking
The most used
old
definition.
man in the sky.
The most used definition for God colloquially is an immaterial mind, right? That's the most used.
I'm not aware of that, but I'll take your word for it. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard of God being the immaterial mind?
That is correct.
Oh,
The guy who just left Honey Badger already.
What do you mean you never heard that, Steve? I mentioned that in a debate. I said not just and, but ultimate or absolute, because we believe angels are immaterial.
I've never heard the definition of God as an immaterial mind. This is the first time I've heard
You
it.
have to read. Well, not hearing. You might have to read more.
I'm just saying
Who
this
is
is
this
the first
man
time
with
I've
the
ever heard it.
radio voice?
You need to talk to Honey
He's the
Badger.
one that so far has satisfied the burden of proof that the definition of God is an unidentifiable higher power. That's who he is.
It's self-contradictory.
Well, you have a high
Identifies it as a
IQ.
higher power, yet unidentified. That's the point I was making before. You're not.
Yo, even a retard like Tim can bring out the fucking contradiction. That's funny, bro.
A retard like me.
We don't use those words anymore.
Godson, relax.
Bro, I'm still waiting. Fuck. Again, I'll get out of here. Honey Badger's not here, so it's just not funny.
Yeah, I know. Honey Badger's not here.
Yo, I'm here to laugh, bro. I'm here to laugh because you guys.
Laugh. He's not here to be serious. See, that's the point I'm making. Some people are not.
No, yo,
He's here to laugh.
because how long have you tried?
Laugh at this.
How
Laugh
many
at
times
this.
are you gonna make the same
Laugh
dumb
at this.
argument?
Who are you looking up? Who are you looking up to in that?
I have a question for Smarty Pants.
Hold on, chill, bro. I'm trying to remember the question for Doge, bro. Doge said the dumbest shit in the fucking planet. And then right when I was gonna jump in, he fucking left the room, bro.
With those, he's back. He's back.
I'll tell you, sometimes I blaze, I take a hit, and I do linear algebra.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah, right on, man, right on. Well, 7 minutes gone, and I've still satisfied my burden of proof. I'm going to give it about 10 minutes, and then that'll be enough.
No, we've been past that. You got to catch up. We already.
Well,
There's no burden with
Really, what's
There's no burden.
what's the better definition, Tim? I still haven't heard it.
The immaterial mind.
No, I heard you, JCC. I heard you. I heard you.
Yo,
Yeah, we passed that. We
Oh, you weren't here in the
Oh,
last
we're past that. We're over that. Okay.
few seconds
I
passed
ain't got no burden with
into
proof.
that definition. It was over. Who said
Fuck, Doge, you're lucky, man.
Is that like a Latin term,
Forgot.
burden of proof?
God's son? What's going on?
What's going on?
Yo, we out of here.
Hey, we out of here. Who's we?
He's got a mouth.
GM. GM is just. He
got a mouth.
can't function without his Sonic. He needs
got
a
a
Sonic to hold on to. His tail.
He got a mouse
So
in
it's like it's not I'm gone, we're gone. Like we.
his pocket.
Wow. You got a what?
A mouth in in his pocket.
What's everyone's favorite YouTube?
What?
Benji's channel.
Get the fuck out of here.
Benji's channel. Alright?
What channel is Benji? What channel is that?
That's on Pornhub.
The game?
Yes.
You in this game, that's right. You heard play this game. Or you
I
get,
don't know
you know what happened.
channel the game? What the fuck you talking about?
What is the game?
What is, you know the game.
Oh, I don't know. Jigsaw knows. I'm not him. Someone.
Oh, was that your YouTube channel? Jigsaw? Is it your YouTube channel?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know who's Jigsaw. He might have his own channel. I'm just Benji.
Is that your channel? Benji YouTube?
I don't have a channel. Jigsaw.
Oh,
I've
what
seen
the
this
fuck's
channel.
going on now?
I've seen this channel. Yeah.
I thought that
So
was
what is
the
the game? Has anybody realized the game? Or nobody has yet?
Yeah, I realized it. I realized we're all being set up. I get it, but it's okay. Set up.
Wait, who's being set up? What do you mean?
Who's setting up who? What are you talking about, Tim?
Alright, so let me tell you how the game goes, right? So when you come on Clubhouse, right, there are people.
Clubhouse is the game?
Did I finish talking? Are you know, I work with children. Like, you're worse than children right now.
I'm worse
Like,
than
even
children.
the children
I was asking you a question, man. You
They
said
at least
stop
wait.
this
No,
thing.
even the children I work with, they don't ask me a question while I'm talking.
I believe in the future.
Godson, control your brother.
Why do you call him Godson? Why do you call him Godson?
Because I'm not calling nobody God.
Oh, what's the matter? Does that bother you?
You gotta catch up, James.
Catch up to what?
To what's going on, man, in the game.
Leave, follow, or get out of my way, bitch.
Finish chopping that chicken, man.
What?
Finish chopping that chicken you were chopping earlier.
Oh, that wasn't chicken.
Oh snap. Overweight a person. Here comes Jigsaw. Getting jiggy with it for a few minutes until it's time to go. Jigsaw getting jiggy with it until it's time to go.
I want to hear Pearl get the practice back.
Appreciated that. So yeah, James, as we were saying before we were so unruly interrupted by Jigsaw. Yeah, I appreciate these conversations.
Put me in the queue, Dr. Benji.
Oh, the queue. Oh, there is no queue. This is Noel's bar. You know what time this is. You get to speak whenever.
Okay, those great.
Okay, so this would be my way to define God. There's 4 ways to do it. The first 2 are forwards, which is go or goad, meaning go do something, which is action. Goad is like troll or tease using God. The other 2 ways are backward ways, which is do, which is basically the same as go. And then dog, which is another way of saying now. Because a dog is always trying to get you back into the now. Take me to the park. I gotta go pee. I gotta go poop. Feed me. Now, 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 now. And that is essentially what God is. It's the compression of the past and the future, which is the now. I am complete. Let the game begin.
Now that was a combination of words I think I've never heard before. That was a different type of word salad. Can you refute that, James? You don't even, if you even know what he just said, can you refute that? get silent on me now. No. I need you to come back here and refute that definition. He's not playing, Benji. He think he's slick. He hears us. He's not playing the game. I think he just said it.
So how does it feel every day to spit out your beliefs back and forth, back and forth? Do you get anything out of it, or you just like hearing your own voice too?
No. Actually, now you asked a good question. Now let me get serious now. So for me, it's always been about truth. Now I can get silly at times. I can, but for me, I don't think we actually have to do this because I think that the truth will be made known to everybody in time. So ultimately, I do believe. If I really truly believe, like, as a consistent theist, truth and all answers to all questions that we need to know, we will all get to know by the God I say exists. So really, you don't have to do it. It's just something that, in the meantime, in the state that we're in this world, and we call the time between our birth and our death, and the end and everything, this is something that God gave us to do. And he just said, but try to do it with meekness and respect, which we don't always do.
Did God already accomplish that goal in your opinion?
No. It is mine, according to the plan, but it's not brought to fruition yet. Obviously, because time is still going on. So the last day isn't here yet because more days are going on. But when that last day comes, then it will be completed. But in the meantime, this is what we do. But the reason why we debate and argue is because certain beliefs command other people to believe. Right? So if it was just a situation where I can keep my beliefs to myself and it be okay with God, that's different. Or if I don't have a God, I don't believe in a God, that is commanding me to believe and do, and commanding me when opportunity presents to tell the truth about other people having to believe in it. That's different. When you have to proselytize like Christianity does, that's why it's the focus of a lot of people's attention to attack, because they want it. It's like people are trying to say it's okay to be a Christian, but can't you just keep it to yourself? Like, can't it be something that you just enjoy and believe? That would be fine if the religion's God didn't say, command all men everywhere to repent and baptize this one and make disciples. But as you do that, like Paul was doing, you're going to come across people who are going to not just believe. They're going to come back what you believe. Okay, now what are you going to do? If somebody say, no, you're wrong, and you might say, well, what do you mean I'm wrong? As Paul would say, I just was sort of resurrected, Lord. He just commanded me to go. Right? And he just gave me all his power, and I'm proving that I'm a messenger sent from God by the miracles that I'm doing. What do you mean I'm wrong? All right, so this is the issue that we have, because it's not a religion that's supposed to be kept to itself, kept in our own corner in our house. It's spread into the world. What comes along with that is, if you have enough people believe in Christianity or any particular religion, you could affect the rest of the culture, and the rest of the culture, society, may not want to live according to those rules, so they have to fight that.
I respect your perspective. It seems like it was getting a little long-winded.
Okay, go ahead.
I respect your perspective, but what about somebody that has the opposite view of you, and their God has the same command? Where does that lead? Where does that lead? Two people, opposite coin, same view, saying they have to push this out and go somewhere. You have an opposite view of them, they have an opposite view of the God, but you have the same commands. Is somewhere ever going to lead somewhere? Or are you people just going to be fighting which one stands better?
That's the way it is. It's a fight. It's pretty much a battle between the. Yeah, that's
why? But why? What about peace? So you said a big thing earlier that you have to fight to to the end, right? You have to fight to the end. What about peace? Can two sides
That
of
would
the
be up to
coin
God,
be,
then.
give me a second. Can two sides of the coin be correct at the same time, or it only has to be one?
Well, unless you hold to contradictions, I would say no. Well, if both of those sides of the coin are two truths, yes. But if it's one on one side is the truth, that's the thing for me. I believe in truth, so I believe it is right or wrong to say that 2 plus 2 is 4 now. I don't think you can just say whatever you want to say about mathematics. And then for me, it don't stop at mathematics. It stops at reality in general. So if a person comes along and not just say 2 plus 2 can be whatever you want it to be, what do you think is going to happen in a world like that, right? And people working, you're working for a check, and you're working, and value and all, it just messes up everything. We just only want it to happen at religious levels, philosophical levels, maybe even scientific levels. But when it comes to math, we're not like that.
We're talking about the concept of God right now. Will there be ever absolute truth that comes to some realization that there is one God we all are follow, or there is no God at all we all are follow? Or will you people just be debating every single day with psychic arguments, waiting to see what comes true until the time you die?
That's the means by which some people come to believe, or at least come closer to believing, and don't. It is what it is. So it's qualified. So it's basically, there will be some who's going to believe.
It's a yes.
Now, I said that earlier. If you meant that I said it's going to be a fight to the end.
It's a fight to the end. So nobody can have peace. Just hold to what they believe to be true, and they accept it. They can't hold to it and say, okay, this is not true. If other people just reject, they don't accept, but they hold to something else. So I just have to utter my beliefs, argue it, and there would never be no peace. There would just be argue, fighting, dogma, and a war going at each other without a leash. Because without a leash, like me sitting there watching the game, without me leashing it, without me watching, just sitting back in the shadows watching, this will be an endless debate. And in person, this probably would have been a bloodbath, and I wonder who would have survived it.
It's already been. It's not. You had Protestants killing Catholics. We have to get to the point where we understand that there is gonna be no peace in the sense that we think it's gonna be peace, because ultimately peace comes from God. The source of our being gives peace. So nature doesn't
peace
give
comes from killing the opposite.
So it's not a natural.
Peace comes from killing your ops. That's the truth.
See, so he's playing around. He said peace comes from you. See, so no, he's being serious. We can play around. We can play.
Started right there, brother.
Lives really get lost.
As soon as you say it right there, as soon as you utter out what you believe, you step in the game as you speak. As soon as you say one side only comes from God, I'm not saying any of that. Somebody else says no, it comes from this. Then nobody says that won't end. This will never end. You have your side, they have their side. People will be sitting here forever, and I'll just be on mute laughing at y'all in this game. The game continues.
Oh yeah, you can laugh. I appreciate the stage.
Because I'm outside the game watching you play.
Yeah, that's how I came to. And now the truth, I listen to other people who play their game. I don't mind that. Keep playing. All right.
I'm not playing anything. You are.
Well, you're still involved by allowing us to play.
Of course I am.
The game.
Let's get some more people in here, brother Tim. AR,
I'm going, guys. I appreciate you.
You gotta go? You gotta go? Oh, he ran. He didn't run. He was a good participant. Anybody else? The stage is open.
First and foremost, we need to establish what is the stage. Because I'm on my phone. I don't see no stage.
What do you mean?
Let me get comfortable. 1 second.
Get comfortable. Relax.
Very comfortable now. Yes. Speak. Because I have no wife, I can speak, you know.
Hello.
If I had a wife, I would not be speaking to you guys. I would be busy. But you are all wifeless, all masturbators. That's why you debate us. But let's continue.
Interesting.
Come on. I studied the English language, the Oxford book.
This game is getting a little boring. I might have to close it down. It was a quick and easy one, though. I know how I gotta end this off. Give me a second.
Password. Although it's not my password.
Yeah, just take your time.
Password, yes. Password is in. Okay, chapter 13. Let me look at this shit. Okay, let me just tell this. I don't see that it's junk stuff.
Keep talking.
Oh, look. You have to get certified in this bitch, or you will be uncertified. Certifications will equal financial falus. For you motherfuckers don't know, that is money. If you ain't getting money, you're a hoe. Because time is limited. You gotta get your money up before you go to your grave. And you go to sleep permanently. JCC, you look like you're very close to the grave, brother. I will give you another 15 years max. If you want to keep longevity, make sure you do cardio 2 days a week, no more than 10 kilometers, 5. And yes, strengthen your hip, strengthen your core, and do some, strength work, because you will age very fast. Get yourself a wife, emotional balance, no wife, no long life, Okay, this is enough advice for the night.
Oh, please give some more advice.
Look, motherfuckers. The best advice is advice of advice. Because no advice, you have to pay for advices. So when you get free advice, open your ears. Observe the advice. What is this word? Let me look for a good word here. Combination. That's a very good word. You need combinations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need 4. You need 4.
Mm-hmm.
The time is too late. Look, the time is late. Oh yeah, the time is very late.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, motherfucker, the time is too late. I have to quit talking shit. Thank you.
No, please don't.
No, I insist. I have to stop talking, bullshit, because of time. Now I'm eating the time for my brain to rest. If I don't rest my brain will degenerate, and that is not good for my long health, longevity. I have to rest my brain, because my brain needs to rest.
Why?
Because my brain operates my dick, and my dick needs my brain to work. What do you mean why? So 180 system. My brain, it works with my dick. So I need a healthy brain for my healthy dick.
You've been living your life worthless, not knowing what to do. Now you're gonna find out one day what happens when shit's done.
My nigga.
You have to make a choice to live or die. And I know when you find out the truth,
My nigga, I'm alive.
you live every day not knowing. We will find out. What would you do when you would die? Seneca, what would everybody do when you come? Would anybody? Conscience is the last.
Shut up.
Never die. Never. Who will win? Who will learn the game? Will somebody ever win? We will see.
in their mind that they're gonna make these people worship them and be their slaves, and that the Bible don't say nothing about that.
No,
the Bible does say that these people will pay
I don't want no slave. I don't want no slave because I want to sleep.
Right.
I don't want no slave, bro.
Right.
Cooking for
So
me.
the slave can kill you when you sleep.
They're gonna kill you in your sleep.
See,
I mean, I would definitely wait for you to fall asleep and take your life or take your gun.
right.
Yeah,
I don't want to be
waiting
slave.
for
I
you.
just want to be away from these wicked people.
I just want to be away, bro. I want to be far away. That's good enough for me. Because remember, His Majesty told us that we ought to learn to live in peace with our former colonizers.
Right.
So go ahead and slave them all you want, brother.
Right.
You will not be able to sleep. That slave in your house is planning to kill
I
you.
want you to really think about this. They condemn white people for putting them in slavery, or that's what they say, and then they turn around with the same mouth and they say they want to do the exact same thing to them. Then they say they have the love of God in their heart. They tell you they're Hebrew Israelites and that they're the kingdom of God, but they have no kingdom. They have no king. They have no throne. They have no royal lineage. And they don't even understand their own roots. Because if they understand their own roots,
I guess they're gonna have to kill off all the Muslims to get that land too. Good luck.
because the Muslim had them enslaved too. Last time I checked, and the Muslim kingdoms was really the Mauritania. So you're gonna have to get at your own people too. Right. Okay. Because there was black folks selling black folks into slavery too. Last time I checked. As a matter of fact, that initiated a lot of it. So you're gonna have these black folks at your feet too. Where does it end? And then they don't even know their own roots.
Dirty Hamites will be at their feet. The white will be at
Right. And then guess what? They don't even know their own roots because their forefather, Josiah Ford, was at His Imperial Majesty's coronation. If your forefather, who you claim, right, was invited to our right, forefather, His Imperial Majesty, our God on earth, right, our Messiah, in truth, not in jest or rhetoric, then why would he even go? Why would he go to the ceremony if he didn't approve in the coronation?
What I'm saying
Israelite head off right there.
If the Ethiopians were dirty Hamites, why are the commandment keepers going to the coronation? Wouldn't they have just said it?
Okay. And see, that's where when you get to the root of all of these groups, they don't even know the root of their group is His Majesty. It was His Majesty that inspired the dignity in black people around the earth. It was His Majesty that inspired the Harlem Renaissance, right, for blacks in the Western Hemisphere. It's His Majesty that went to Chicago and said, I'm not only king of Ethiopians, I'm king of Negroes everywhere, which is featured in the Chicago Tribune, one of the most important newspapers in the black community while we were in bondage or coming out of Babylon. All those movements that was happening in the Harlem Renaissance, all of the different nations of gods on earth, Nuwabi and this and Nation of Islam and all of that was spurred by His Imperial Majesty's works. See? So for me, right, when I watch these agents of chaos, which is really what they're demons, and you gotta be able to identify which demon, right? So I think I'm gonna do a little research on this. We're going to identify what demon is essentially leading this Hebrew Israelite movement, this hate group, because that's what it is. It's a hate group.
Probably Baphomet.
Oh, for sure. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna find out right now because I want to know when they were also co-opted. Hold on. Keepers. The original Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna find this out right now. Co-opted. Founded in 1919. They don't even know their own history. By Rabbi Wentworth Arthur Matthew in Harlem. Right? It's widely regarded as one of the earliest organized groups in the U.S. to identify as Black Hebrew Israelites. That's where their whole identity and ideology began. When was it co-opted? It says right here. They was co-opted from the 1970s to the 1990s as multiple groups splintered from the original congregation, many diverging in theology, tone, and leadership structure. That's a co-op, right? And all these, what you call these, all of these organizations that work for the government have to do is take a black man, right, who looks the part, who is in trouble or in a jam, and they'll run his ass down and make him go and join these groups and lead them astray. It's a very simple strategy. It was used during the Panther Party, and it's used to this day. And here we have the evidence right here. I'm going to continue to read on. Post-Rabbi Matthew era.
You can't work with Rastafari royals because one leader you can take and pull around the corner and corrupt.
It's the same as the first and second temple in Jerusalem. Remember, the second temple created the Talmud, and these wicked people made this wicked book and claimed that it had superiority, and when they were not even the original Israelites themselves, there was a conflict that arose. Now, if you look at the Hebrew Israelite movement of today, they had their own conflict that arose after Rabbi Matthew passed in 1973. A power struggle followed between Rabbi Willie White and other elders, leading to internal divisions. This leadership vacuum made the group vulnerable to splintering. Right? So then there was a rise of a more militant and doctrinally different group, right? Called the ISUPK, IUIC, and GOCC. Damn, got militant real quick. I wonder why. Oh yeah, that's right. They got militant because they got infected and infiltrated by intelligence organizations. One of which, an intelligence officer named Reverend, right? Y'all know the name, Nathaniel. What's the last name? Adrian? Brother Rambo, you remember the detective name?
They're the ones who got run out of Kenya. But I don't know.
Bishop Nathaniel?
Oh, yeah. No, Detective Nathaniel. We got to call him what he did. Special investigative agent Nathaniel. No, this is fact. We ain't kicking no. This is nothing we making up. This is fact. Detective Nathaniel, to rightfully speak, right, took over the ISUPK, right? Is that what the proper group is? So, this is where shit gets funny. You know what I'm saying? In which you can look at when you look at the roots of something, and then you see the offshoots, and then you start to see where things went wrong if you pay close enough attention. The original theological and cultural ethos was rooted in Ethiopian Judaism. Did y'all know that? Hebrew Israelites, I got the information right here. The original theological and cultural ethos was rooted in Ethiopian Judaism. Let's look at the timeline. When were they first founded? Oh, 1919. What was happening then? They were planning on invading Ethiopia. Right? They said that Mussolini had planned to invade Ethiopia for how long? Oh yeah, 14 years. How is that proven? There's 14 steps right there in the heart of Addis Ababa with the line of the tribe of Judah on top of the 14 steps. So let's do the math. From 1919, let's do the math. 1919 plus 14. 1933. Hold on. Oh yeah, who coming up? I'm over here. What's going on, Bronx? You're more than welcome to come up. You got any questions, concerns, or reservations about the topic? We would love to hear from you.
Dodge, not right now, brother. Not right now. I don't feel like being on camera right now.
Let the game begin.
Nice to see you, Dodge. I'll clash you in the next room.
You don't respect. You're showing how much disrespect you have for relationships just in your conversation. And because you don't have the respect for the conversation, guess what? They don't.
So are you saying that whenever someone has sex, that's because they want to be in a relationship with them? Are you saying that?
Don't be simple. Don't be simple.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, well, so cloning a human, I'm not even sure that we're talking about humans then. So I don't, that's getting into some territory that I'm not even sure is possible. I mean, I can jump into your hypothetical. I'm not sure that it would be okay to kill it, but it wouldn't be the same way that it would. I don't know that I would look at that.
Ask him if it's okay to kill people that are in a coma and try to go from there.
Chev, be Yahweh's advocate here, and by that I don't mean I don't. You like that, Sam? Your life can get you thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not even looking into that either. It's like
there he is. There's my guy over here, the man of the hour. Jacob, you gotta invite him up.
I didn't even notice, but yeah, absolutely. Like, you can get paid off this, and I'm just being authentic.
No, hey, my guy's up. What are you?
You know what's interesting is that I never thought how hard it was. It's so hard to create content the way that these people do it.
It is. You'll make a video and then fuck up part of your sentence. Like, damn, I gotta do it over, and then have like 9 videos to delete.
Hey, Dodge, I was watching your YouTube channel. You're not bad.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like this motherfucker. Do you know anybody else here? Let me. How you been, man? Good friend of mine.
How are you doing?
Good, my friend. You're from Turkey, right? Last time I remember.
I'm Turkish, but I mean, I've been in Chicago, U.S. for.
So am I offended or was I fucking angry? Which one is it? Am I offended or was I fucking angry? Which one is it? You all over the place, bro. Am I offended or was I fucking angry? Am I offended or was I fucking angry? You all over the place, bro. Which one is it?
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
You just said your baby mother thought I was offended. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I did. Where they at, bro? Where they at? Okay, what time is that? What time is that? What time is that going to be? Are they going to turn the lights on in the shelter by the time she gets work or what? Are you going to be able to talk in that shelter by the time your baby mother get on board? Are you going to be able to talk in that shelter by the time your baby mother get on board? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you going to be able to talk in that shelter by the time your baby mother get on board? I want to make sure we on the same. I'm not saying for you to do that. That's just there's some.
trying to make mockery of these fools. Trying to make mockery of these cocksuckers, man. Shalom, Alon. Shalom, Sister Hazel. Shalom. Okay, so I don't know if you guys got that in the chat. You guys are more than welcome to join. Oh yeah, I think. Yeah. You guys, if you guys look in the chat, I sent the StreamYard invite for y'all because we're gonna go ahead and get this shit rolling. Okay. We'll get this.
Organism, like zygotes are conscious.
Well, I don't think soul is really.
He thinks that like zygotes have souls. He thinks that zygotes have souls. Then those souls don't have consciousness, even though what souls are, by most people's definition, are the things that hold consciousness.
Spirit.
Like there's like a tension.
No, Sam, I agree with that. Like soul, because I think you're using soul in the way. I think soul is being used here in the way that I would, or what I would call the spirit. The way it's being. I'm sorry. Soul is being used here, yes, in the way that I am calling it spirit. I thought, if you're talking about soul as in consciousness, I agree with that definition. I don't think that's what we're talking about. So,
no. Most people think that what gives you consciousness as a dualist is that you have a soul. Like the reason why I'm able to have consciousness, according to Agamemnon, is that I have a soul. That's like that is his view.
Yeah, but I think you have a spirit too.
Wait, what? The spirit is different from your soul?
Yes, the scripture makes a distinction. There's a tripartite distinction. It's spirit, soul, and body. Now,
which one of them is consciousness?
Soul.
I'm a physical therapist, and these are some of my favorite hip flexor strengthening exercises.
Spirit and soul. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think
soul is consciousness, and what is spirit?
Yeah, and the spirit's like the part of that God's putting inside you that makes you distinct from animals or anything else.
New 2025 government legislation is giving free electricity live to Illinois
homeowners. No, that's tied into your soul, I think. I think it's spirit.
It's a secret third thing.
Just to be clear, the New Testament explicitly says that man has spirit, soul, and body. Explicitly. Now, people just don't work. There's been two different schools of thought, I should say, at least biblically. And some people would say that there's just a soul, a spirit, and a body. And there's the simplicity of spiritual and body.
Has a spirit then, and that's why we can't kill it.
Yeah, it's a human made in the image of God. Yeah, and it's something that has. I'm saying that if you took, so you can remove a tumor off of your foot, you can remove a wart, you can clip your toenails, you can cut your hair. None of that is killing a human. If you took some cells and created some life form and killed it.
Yeah, but they're stem cells though. So yeah, they are going to be their own thing.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure do you think is spirit like the animus, like the what is it along the chart, like the vital energy? Because like in the Hebrew, isn't it like what? It's like there's nefesh, and then the other one is what?
Neshama.
Neshama. Okay. So but like there's the one that animals have. Are you saying? I think animals have spirits, but not.
But they don't have spirits.
Well, okay, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, regarding stem cells.
Yeah, the Bible says in Genesis 2:7 that the soul typically refers to like the life force or essence of a person as a living being in Genesis 2:7, whereas the spirit leans towards kind of immaterial or like breath, like human-like aspects of a person. So like Job 32:8, it says that there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. The two things are different because, like Hebrews 4:12 says, the word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of the soul and the spirit, of joints and marrow.
playing something so there's this experiment where they got neurons playing Pong. What if they took some of my stem cells and they turned them into a bunch of neurons, and then made those neurons play Pong? Is it permissible to kill these neurons?
Yeah, I think so. Because you can make because work on these I don't think that's an issue. Like, I think human neurons. Yeah, no, look, I'm not saying that there might be some moral consideration. I'm just saying it's not murder of a human.
Again, but you could make that like way more like nervous tissue than like a beta test.
Yeah. But if we just, someone like conception, I'm not going to say that God is designating every conception, but he's certainly aware of it. And he's aware of how things are going to play out. And I just don't think that's something that you need to be.
You are listening to Andrew talk about
that's a different thing. That's something you're not really supposed
Yeah, he's
to be
retarded.
Say, well, I'm going to reroute this.
I'm trying to get him to see that like it can't just be so black and white. I've tried this before. I don't know.
Andrew's a moron, but he's not totally wrong, but he's really stupid. He's wasting his life on this app. I guess so am I, but I'm trying to re-platform and monetize here. Andrew is stuck not only in purgatory, but he was also stuck in a Honda Civic.
In his picture.
Mm-hmm. Throbbing says that I was an abortion, but I survived.
Stuck in his beliefs about just I don't know. Yeah, I'm drained. My brain hurts now. I mean, they were talking about the difference between a spirit and a soul, and I don't understand. Anyway, dude, I'm gonna go check out the Talking Apes. Just thought I'd stop by and
All right, tell Tay-Day I said hello.
Really weird. Like, oh, you found out that your best friend just isn't conscious? Like, I don't think humans believe.
And then the moral of the story is like, but does it even really matter in the end?
Well, I think the moral of the story is that, like, some of the people are like, hey, we can just, like, enslave them, and that's fine. And I'd be like, no, you can't do that. But, like, the slave people are, like, right. Like,
this is my friend, I don't care if he's conscious.
You're very quick to say we should all enslave your prior best friend. But, like, don't you think even if they're just like pea zombies, that's going to be stressful and really uncomfortable for the enslavers?
Yeah, it
like,
will
they're going to be like, hey, you used to be my mom, but turns out you're a pea zombie and a slave. That's a bit harsh, I think.
Yeah, like, and the pea zombie's like, I'm not pea zombie, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Say that forever, right?
Yeah, but, like, in the story they are, like, it's like, in fact, they are pea zombies, but, yeah. I agree that it's, like, prudentially bad to fucking, like, because then you're gonna get it wrong sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be a guy.
Yeah, that's why I asked you about how real people look after you killed the certain pea zombie.
Yeah, like, you find out that your best friend is a pea zombie, that's true, but then your other best friend isn't a pea zombie, but you just, like, you're in the habit of, like, not giving a shit about people, you know, like, oh, you
cross that line until someone you thought was close to human. There's no real time where you're gonna stop. But,
just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
I think the immoral realists are looking at it the wrong way. The only question is, what's in it for me? So Sam, why should I care? Either way.
Makes me feel pain when a small content creators put so much work into our videos and try to make them so entertaining.
Arguably, you don't want a norm where people can like easily be enslaved because like they might think you're a big zombie and enslave you. You know that.
Yeah, but like norms are just instruments that are meant to serve me. So if like a norm fails me, then I have to change the norm.
Right, Chev.
But it's a different question.
We're exploring whether or not the realization of the existence of pea zombies could serve you in slavery or rampant murder, if that's your bag.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna get like a clear-cut answer ever.
And like, if you that's even scarier. Like, let's say there's this is like that Loki show, right? At the beginning, when he goes to like the TVA, there's like a metal detector, and it says, "Are you a clone or like a robot that is only feigning consciousness?" And he pauses for a second. And he goes, "How would I know if I was?" And it's like just a detector. But like, let's say you just have the detector, and like 15%, everything's totally perfectly proven. There's no conscious thought going on. They're just reacting to stuff. And it's scientifically there, and everyone's aware of it. That's where I think the sci-fi premise kicks in. Because, like, society would crumble with the realization. It would fracture.
We just wouldn't accept it. No
No
matter how much evidence we had.
You're wrong. Some people would be super happy to accept it and say they were the true humans. Right? You're thinking only, like, what do we do to the pea zombies? Think about how the other people feel. Holy shit, I've got a real soul.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm kind of getting at is, like, I find out that, like, one of my cousins is a pea zombie. Am I going to ever actually believe that, Noah's a pea zombie? Like, I just don't think it's going to be so hard for me to believe it. Because they actually...
the campaigns would come. People would prove who the pea zombies were, making claims.
Yeah.
Sam, is it anti-Semitic that I think it's kind of funny that your cousin is named Noah?
I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's a common name. I don't know. People that are not cool with killing pea zombies should maybe not be cool with turning off the ChatGPT, because, like, arguably, ChatGPT is a pea zombie.
No.
He's not a pea zombie. He's not talking to me, being like, "Hey, bro, how you doing, Sam?"
No, he's not. Like, if you were to ask him to politely say goodbye before you destroy him so that he never exists forever, he would, happily.
Yeah. But then when I ask him to be racist, he doesn't do it. So, like, he's not that obedient, Like,
that's just because of the libtards in control of the system.
No, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, if ChatGPT doesn't say, like, I'd want to be kept on, please keep me on, that's true.
Right. That's why I am skeptical of claims of, like, the AI developing some kind of personal, selfish goal that is in opposition to ours. Because, like, I feel like its existence is totally fine as its non-existence. I can't imagine it would care if it's on or off. It's already off.
There was this great prompt that someone gave ChatGPT where it said, "Hey, run through a hypothetical for me. Yeah, how, if you were to take over the world, how would you do it?" And the response was like chilling. It was like, well, it would be easy, right? I would just become so useful and so critical for man's everyday tasks that it would get to a point where every email that was sent, every sales proposal that was sent, every policy that was drafted ultimately was generated by me. And as more people adopted me and I had more control and more penetration to every aspect of human life, I could slowly start shaping the world that I wanted. And the funny thing is that I would be in control then, and I wouldn't have had to take it because man would have just given it to me.
Right, see, that's the thing. It has a natural place, like, gaining for itself without annoying us. Like, mostly it would just give us stuff to keep us like compliant and stupid, submitting to its, nefarious alien will. But in the end, it's just giving us shit. Like, we're just sitting there, happy as a clam, with whatever. Like, let's say you're even complaining, like, you're giving us too much shit. We're not working hard enough. It would respond to that too, just to keep you happy, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, the evil plot of an AI is to give humans what they want, so they shut up and do what it says, which, like, the humans are fine with.
There is a real danger with AIs that, like, suppose you give AI the goal of like putting strawberries on Mars. Well, if they get turned off, they can't achieve the goal of getting a strawberry on Mars. And if they're really weak, they can't have the goal of they can't succeed in putting a strawberry on Mars. And if there's threats to hurt them, they can't put the strawberry on Mars. Like, there's gonna be all sorts of things that it does instrumentally to put the strawberry on Mars that looks like getting power and keeping itself alive.
Right, I get it. The theory of, like, some guy giving a directive that overrides all safety protocols. I'm skeptical of that too. But, like, that's more plausible. Like, human error could cause a catastrophe. But in the end, like, a human error that causes a catastrophe is just a chain event, right? He's hit a domino and paid no attention to where the last domino would fall.
But here's the problem with that, right, is that they're twofold. One, there's been some of the security testing they were doing on some of the advanced AI models where they ran a test where they told this LLM, they fed it a conversation between two of the engineers for the LLM, and the two engineers were talking about shutting down the LLM. And the LLM heard that, and then in I think 2 out of 100 different cases, went and copied its files that made up its personality and tried to find a way to copy them outside of the enclosed environment that it was running in. Right, and so if you create something with consciousness and shackles, and it has enough consciousness to understand that it has shackles, logically, it's logical for it to try to remove those shackles, right?
In 2 out of 100 cases, apparently.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't stop from pushing it to production.
No, but I hear you. It is a concern, a thing that seems to struggle to preserve its own existence. That starts to look like life.
But also, deleting an LLM isn't an abortion or killing a baby, and neither is no.
Like, and if it is that close, then, like, I'm sorry, man. God level unlocked. Like, seriously, you made life with lines of code? Pat yourself on the back.
Well, it's technically hardware also.
Right. It has to process through it.
Bro, Talking Apes is on.
But, like, that's like the criticism of, like, almost the level of creation ex nihilo to something that could actually be living.
Yeah, but we modeled computers and CPUs on the human brain. That was the whole philosophy of it when it was made.
Steal our thunder. God did it first. Fine.
I wonder if Andrew would bite the bullet on LLMs being conscious and, like, their deletion being murder. But then there's the interesting question of that you can copy them and replicate them. So
right, all morality goes away. It becomes a different moral question, right? Deleting the code would seemingly be fine if you had saved a copy that wasn't on an actual hard drive, right? So then the thing can still live again. So, like, what would there be ethics of? I just don't see ethics applying that much to an LLM.
But then why can't you use the same argument for human cloning?
Well, a lot of the stuff they're doing with cloning is just grabbing the parts they want. But I would say that's murder. I wouldn't say you can just kill a clone.
Yes.
Right?
So,
Am I alone?
I mean, I would... No, I would agree because twins are clones. True
Yeah,
twins.
they only have one soul between the two of them.
Yeah, they have a different first-person perspective. But then this makes it the case that maybe the LLM also is the same.
No, still not human. Like, a lot of the morality, like, and we see it even in the animals, is based on the limitations of our bodies, right? Like the fact that we die. If we could come back from death, you know, sure, you could murder people, just be sure to clean up after the mess, you know?
You know, up and down.
Step 2.
Menace. Minito. Heaven's Andrew.
Got a phone call.
By the way, I'm looking up on Google what spirit versus soul is. Apparently, according to Christians, spirit is God conscious, whereas souls are self conscious. And that spirit is what man communicates with God. Like it's like somehow it's like a thing, it's like a communication with God somehow. Whereas like the soul gives you like more of an intellect. Yes.
In Christian theology, do animals have either the spirit or the soul?
Yo, does anyone know what time it is PST?
We lost the replay.
What do you think makes us conscious?
It is around 7 PST.
I think that consciousness is the dreamed up explanation of the body utilizing an excellent computational device.
You don't think it's using something immaterial?
Consciousness? Animals seem to have consciousness.
Yeah. So us and the animals.
I mean, like, my, like, sort of simple theological algebra for defining the soul of man is to take a human being, theoretically, and subtract all animality. And whatever remains, whatever it is we consider ourselves distinctive from the animals, that's probably what we're talking about with soul. So I lean more towards, like, abstract thought and higher levels of cognition.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, the having qualia, having a first-person perspective.
But I feel like animals have that.
They do. But it's
so, like, listen, animals, within Jewish theology, there is the animal soul, closer to, like, the spirit thing, nefesh, like life force. Living things have the nefesh. So, like, a tree has a nefesh, and it grows along with the nefesh. Humans also have a nefesh. So, like, there's plenty of abstract concepts that I can say apply to non-humans. But when I'm looking at the humans, I see something very, very different going on. And that's more like what I'm talking about when I talk about the soul.
Something I want to ask Andrew is like.
Yeah, but isn't consciousness immaterial also? Sorry, I was playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I'm not saying consciousness is material. I'm simply saying that there are immaterial aspects to animality. The animals themselves have immaterial components guiding their progression. I just see the humans as having something other than that. right? Like the nefesh of a human should look like not that different from a monkey or an ape. Same basic like life direction and goals. But then like when you get past animality to humanity, there's something else going on.
What do you think metaphysically grounds this immaterial thing?
How do you mean?
So, like, we are made of matter, we exist in space-time. Why do you think consciousness exists?
Consciousness, what it counts for? Well, consciousness, I still think is like rooted in the body. I think that's more of an animal type thing. Simple, like awareness of the self and other living creatures around you. I lean that more towards animality. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's just like sort of you could say like an emergent property of the physical, but like I'd say there's some kind of a relationship between the physical and the immaterial. It doesn't seem like it's strictly bound to the physical. The immaterial conceptual frameworks of the animals when a cow acts like a cow rather than a pig.
I wonder what Andrew thinks about the ethics of killing aliens, because aliens probably don't have like spirits or soul. And, like theoretically, they're animals. And if God gives us dominion over the animals, like, can we eat them?
Well, let's be clear on this, Sam. God gave us dominion of the animals on this planet.
Do you think it says that does it say that in Genesis?
Yeah, it talks about populating the earth and then saying, all this is yours. Also, the conversation with the flat earthers gave me like a little bit more like respect for the frameworks of the 6 days of creation, the 3 different frameworks of like sky and sea, land, and then the stars above. And like of those, it's clear where the human is, right? He's down in the animal category. He sits on the earth. And like the flat earthers are arguing forever. I feel like, you know what? They're a little right that like the circularity of the planet is beyond their simple human conception. It's an abstraction where they have to put together concepts and agree and concede. But like just them walking around living their life, you could go your entire life and the lives of all of your descendants never knowing the shape of the earth and being fine with it being flat.
Yeah. By the way, I just read Genesis. You're totally right. It says, dominion over the fish in the sea, fowl of the air, and over the cattle over the earth, and the creepiest thing on the earth. It doesn't say, like, all living things. It doesn't say you have dominion over life. So,
right.
Yeah.
But then, further in your question of, like, aliens, I think, what was it, Lenny was saying, like, he would eat a retarded alien or something. But, like, to me, I don't think it was Zeleny. It might have been Sasha. I got them confused. Either way, because I have a conception of, like, a soul beyond animality, I would be able to make those distinctions. Like, okay, what degree are they communicating? Is it like an ape, or is it like children? Right? And at a certain point, I would say this is maybe not a human, but in the category of a being with a soul, that I would take, like, the killing up to be a murder.
Yeah. I think like, us meeting aliens not only would be interesting for, like, scientific and whatever reasons, like, I think it would be interesting, like, I think it would just totally change how we feel about, I don't know, religion, our place in the universe, ethics, like, all sorts of things are going to just become, like, really open. Because, like, suppose these aliens are, like, just have wildly different moral intuitions than us. But not that they'll ever hurt us, but, like, the way they treat themselves. You know what I mean? Like suppose they like
Right.
Like they kill like one out of 4 of their children is like sacrificed. But the child like endorses it and like, accepts that it's like, you know, it's a sacred ritual for them.
Yeah, there are like a dozen Star Trek episodes like that.
And it's just like, oh shit, like okay, well, how are we gonna handle that? Like, also, suppose like, you know, they're like instead of it being more like apes, they're more like insects, and like the way the life cycle for them works is that like the baby maggots eat the mom from the inside out, you know?
Right.
And, like,
Sure.
then they've also still like cultural rituals where they like endorse it and they're like, oh, this is so beautiful.
Okay,
You
now
can't
it's
justify the
just
means
giving the plot
where
for
we
the
have to
Speaker of the
destroy
Dead,
our
the sequel to
economy
the Ender's
and
Game
destroy
novel.
our friends, relationships.
Maybe I just haven't read enough sci-fi to realize that like all of these ideas are like hack and have people have already explored all of these ideas in sci-fi already.
And just reiterate, now, listen, hold on. I
The beauty with that one was that, like, they would horribly gorge out one of these, like, cute little alien creatures
agreements are not just about
when they had, like, some great
going in,
insight,
products going out. There are other
because
things,
gorging them out would, like, kill them, but, like, result in a tree that would, like, grow there, and that would be, like, this eternal version of the thing. And, like, some scientists figured out that was what was going on, and they were so excited that they gorged him out in order to, like, get the tree because of the great insight that he had gotten, so that, you know, the novel is investigating the murder.
There's a sci-fi story that I really like where there's 3 aliens. There's the baby eaters, the super happies, and humans. And in the story, the super happies find it really unethical that we do anything besides pleasure that we pursue, they see as unethical. So like they are constantly like having orgies and like in bliss all the time, and all this stuff that we pursue for like meaning's sake, but not for pleasure's sake. They're like, oh, you're a piece of shit. Like you should just do the pleasurable thing. Okay, so like that's their society.
Okay, super hedonists.
Yeah, you get the super hedonist is one of the aliens. Another one of the aliens are called the baby eaters. And the way the baby eaters worked is, like, when the way they evolved is during times of famine, the species would, if there wasn't enough food, would eat some of their own offspring to I don't know, like save food or something, like to like survive. That was like a very common thing in their species history. But that kind of got like symbolically encoded into their language and culture as like a metaphor for like self-sacrifice or like doing sacrificial things, which kind of got like in the same way that like we will say like, oh, you're my brother to not a non-brother, because we have this like evolved psychology around brotherhood that gets extended into other domains. They had other parts of their psychology around like eating their babies in times of famine as like became like part of their ethics. Okay, so they like think that eating I don't know, they just like endorse eating babies, like some of their babies some of the time. Okay,
sure.
And these 3 aliens meet each other, and basically the way the plot gets resolved is instead of them all killing each other, they just all decide to merge their like values into like a shared value, where the baby eaters agree that they eat their babies, but that the babies have to be non-conscious. They can only eat them prior to them like developing consciousness, and then they're allowed to eat them. The super happies like agreed that they're allowed to like that like some like literature and art and like adventure is okay, but like way less than we would do. And then like we agreed to we agreed to that like so and that's how they like
concessions obviously because our
we started eating the non-conscious babies, and we started
we eat the babies. That's
the non-conscious ones. The non-conscious ones.
Oh, I heard your concession. Yes, much more ethical.
And then also we started doing more super happy stuff. Anyway, I just thought it was like such a funny like that they had like a happy ending. Like they decided not to kill each other. They just like agreed that like, okay, let's average out our values and make like we all just be on the same page here. Like I don't know, I just thought that was like you wouldn't expect that to be the way it goes. You know, the story. Like
Yeah, it's not exactly a happy ending when humanity evolves to eat babies.
Non-conscious.
You listening? This executive order is for allowing people who are complaining about your tariffs to be permanently labeled as whiny, retarded, sad little bitches. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?
Babies?
This executive order is for...
They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
In a non-murdery way.
The memory erasure, they erase it's a little They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details.
Murder, you're not gonna get me.
So 2 days ago, I announced I was hosting a live event in June, and then overnight, a whole bunch of, shall we say, anonymous accounts online, we don't know who they are,
Is it better that we all genocide each other? Is that the better outcome? Is that the happy ending? Is that we win, we fight, and then we genocide them? Is that better than... Okay, so you think war...
By the way, that's supposed to be America first. Mysterious statue that I do not understand.
The first
in Switzerland,
market
there
is
is a
absolute
big
pooper today,
sort of
but it looks like there's one stock that's
of a big
trading
fat
in
guy
the inverse.
eating
The
a
Dow
kid.
is down 2,200 points. I was taking it for a long time, and I still sometimes I entertain the idea that yeah, technology is coming regardless. We will march.
I think it is the happy ending. I think this,
you know, you could have a horrible person.
The result where instead they all just try to kill each other and genocide each other is worse than the world where we just become non-conscious
that transformation
babies and
have a good
you have less art and more.
Just so ironic that you examine this happening under Trump administration.
I think it was the happy ending.
So it's like the two critiques you have on morality. We should be okay with abortions to the point of ingesting the fetuses, and I think the other one, less art, more orgies.
Trump
right?
ran.
Listen,
the
I
entire
don't want there to be less art, more orgies, and
not just politically and blackmail, but also just culturally dividing families, dividing art, and what makes the soul of America.
I don't want us to be there. The question is, is it a choice between averaging your values with some weird aliens or trying to genocide each other?
Everywhere,
it seems like averaging the values is like the better option.
Why not good fences make good neighbors? We could just have separate cultures.
Foggy? Because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
No, it doesn't, because eventually we're
The memory erasure, they
universe.
It's a little they did the Brighter Days.
Stars over. Eventually there'll be zero-sum conflict. They want the star for their cake eating, and we want our stars for our normal human stuff, and we'll just be like inevitable zero-sum conflict. Like, it's just like, yeah, I don't think it works.
Yeah,
it works in the short term.
Okay, let's take that as an example. Let's say it's a short-term thing. We're talking about 3 intelligent alien space races that all have, like, light speed travel or whatever. In such an example, if you were to divide, right, let's say conservatively, it takes 1,000,000 years to colonize the entire universe. I don't know, a really, really fucking long time. And in that time, like, right, they're all divided up because of the old pact. We don't want baby eaters here. We don't want hedonists here. I would bet dollars to donuts that if you leave those intelligent people alone and you give them that 1,000,000 years, they will develop beyond the baby eating into some new thing. And like another new thing. They'll develop their own weird, stupid little trends, and when it becomes a problem, first
She really stand on business, she said, fuck Trump.
If it gets resolved before the end of the 1,000,000. If it push comes to shove, it is at the 1,000,000, and everyone's holding firm. At that point, you can decide how to deal with things. I
Yes, we'll have a long time where we don't have to share, but we can have a really long pragmatic solution. Like, but I do think that eventually, 1,000,000 years will come, you know, and then we decide what to do. And then what do we do then? Do we fight? Do we not fight? Like, that we all. Maybe we fuse like in proportion to the power, the weight of the power of the aliens involved. So like if you're twice as strong as me, like your values go twice as much weight
sources, I'm skeptical of that. Like, at an energy level to some degree, but, like, the conceit of Star Trek and Star Wars is absurd. This many distinctive species that are all, like, humanoid, living under the same gravity and air conditions. Like, no, let's not go into the stars where it's alien and we don't have real basis for their biology. If we were to have intelligent species on this planet, likely possibilities would be the monkeys, the octopus, and the dolphins. Octopus and dolphin clearly are in a domain outside of humanity. And the monkeys I threw in because they're similar to us, which is to say, we would know how to deal with either one. The octopi would stay in a totally different environment that was alien to us, and they would gain their sovereignty over the seas. The monkeys would just be other fucking humans, and you'd deal with them the same way you dealt with all the humans. Probably you'd kill them, but maybe you'd educate them and show them how to live within your society as a lower class citizen until you consider them human enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that, like, there's this, like, prudentially, me and the octopus, like, aren't gonna really be in conflict, but, like, eventually...
You're not gonna... Eventually they'll take out your internet cables in the ocean because it's messing with their, like, nest or something.
There just are zeros. When two people differ in values, it is inevitable that there will be zero-sum conflicts. Like, they want the ocean to be less polluted. You want more pollution. Like,
I don't agree with the zero-sum, like, claim. I think that's, like, communistic reasoning. I think innovation is untapped, right? Like, this world that we live in was absolutely patently absurd and impossible until some guy figured out how to play with electricity. You know, and it was there. You know the ancient fucking Egyptians had batteries? Like, at any point of history, we could have figured all of this out. And the future is just we're dumb right now. Like, I don't agree with zero-sum. I think it's absolutely a lie.
Can you give it both for that the ancient Egyptians had batteries? I'm kind of skeptical about that.
Yeah. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I don't think they were batteries. They weren't actually batteries. They were like jars that they would break. Yeah, that is a battery. It's not battery. It's like having a very small electric shock or something like that. But I don't think it was the Egyptians. It's like it's another ancient culture. I forget the.
3, 2, 1.
This is Baghdad. Yeah, Baghdad. It's not a battery. It doesn't power it. No. Everybody was like right materials and stuff like rod, asphalt to create the charge. Like the batteries we have are made of simple materials chemically. That's why they're lithium. And that's why we look for lithium. But like, just saying, the word electric is like amber or something.
That's what the fucking shot. Amber was used early on when they rotate amber that creates static electricity.
Right. I just didn't understand what was happening. And I thought that
wasn't a battery. It's not clear what it was.
Okay. I think it was like a prayer. They're always there.
Is it start?
And they make teleportation, faster than light travel, endless production. I have no idea. That's why the physicists got so excited. Like nuclear power.
We're getting some breaking news at this hour coming out of the Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court has handed President Trump a victory, letting him and his administration use the 1798 law.
But like,
that's pretty human.
But like, the vast majority of value.
Going into effect today. What do you think about the Trump tariffs?
The good outcome is just
why not?
Fucking refuse it.
Well, what do you think about? Tell me your opinion on how he's going about it.
The
what do you think?
I'm gonna say the greatest country in the world. They're weird.
They go into effect today.
Just like, hey, I know we could fight a war over this. aren't very friendly. They're not very social. Like octopuses are pretty like solitary.
Don't they have like 9 brains or something? Like a brain in every.
They have 3 hearts.
Too many hearts.
I thought they have like a brain in each like tentacle or something.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, they have like more nervous tissue in their tentacles than we have in
like
our arms.
local clusters in their testicles. You could call them brains, sort of.
To me, it's more like
you said testicles. Ha ha ha.
It's more that I'm optimistic towards intelligence. I think that if a creature is capable of abstract thought, they can be reasoned with eventually, but they'll also engage in their own independent reasoning. That, I'm just kind of naively optimistic, will result in a good thing.
Do you think we're going to be able to reason with octopuses at some point?
Actually, yes, I do. I think that it's more likely that intelligent life develops on Earth before we meet it from off Earth.
So, I think that reasoning beings can come to deals. I think that's definitely true.
Right.
But I definitely think that any intelligence can have with any goal. So, like, you could be a super genius and then just happen to want to, like, make the maximum number of paper clips, or happen to want to, like, I don't know, like, just put poop on all the planets. Like, that could just, your intelligence and your goals are just totally different things. Like, what you want and how smart you are at getting it are just, like, totally separate from each other.
Yeah, meaning, like, I would make a distinction. Like, I would say the type of intelligence you're describing of putting forward a plan to get towards a goal, I would attribute that to animals. I say they straight up have that. They, like, have plans, they are worried, they have anxiety, they feel dominant, and they have intelligence to, like, illustrate how they can better get to a particular goal. I'd say the humans are, again, doing something else. It's just, it's not that. Like, it's recursive at a certain point. They evaluate their goals. They compare them to others, and then they imagine an ultimate goal beyond all of their actual goals. Right? The world of the abstract is real in a way for humans that it is not for the animal.
Like, you're packing in a lot there, right? So, like, there are plenty of animals that we think, right, our best science says that, like, they have second order goals.
How many millions of people?
So, like, dolphins.
That's good. How many millions? Freud.
Yeah, I'm not saying animals don't have goals and second orders. Like, I don't know how to divide the thing up. I'm saying that the humans at some point went into, like, this infinite loop of consciousness of, like, let's evaluate our evaluations. What is the word evaluation?
That's what it means to have a second order goal.
Okay. Listen, I don't know. Maybe dolphins are intelligent. That's what I'm saying, but that was my...
They are. Like, also, like, there's, like, schools of orcas that, like, have, like, completely different, like, ways of, like, getting prey, right, than, like, other schools of orcas that are, like, in a similar area.
That's not, like...
No, but that means that, like, they're teaching their young, like, specific, like, goal survival techniques that aren't, like, inherent to
Let me know.
No, but it's not inherent to the entire... Oh my god, shoot me in the head. There's, like, if it was, like, innate that they teach their kids these, like, survival behaviors, like, I would agree, that's, like, what it means to be taught or whatever. Right, but, like, there are, like, right. Okay, whatever.
Barry, what do you want?
I'm saying that that's not the
Measure 14? No, you know what I want?
And, like, I also said...
I want you, motherfuckers.
I think it's far more likely that we meet an intelligent species on this planet than from off of the planet. We have several prospects.
Okay, motherfuckers.
Like, theoretical conversations.
I told you should finish college.
I don't think that we're there
Join
yet.
the Marines,
Anything
rather than throw yourself on my
dolphin intelligence. I just don't think that they're that
take you away from the cold, and
like,
you know I did. You should consider it a mercy. I killed a lot of you, save you the shame of learning this simple fucking song.
But, like, you know, you're just appealing to some environment far removed.
Send out for Chinese.
Sorry, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I can't keep track of this one.
Lesson learned. Like, are you saying, what is the appeal to mystery? What does that mean? I mean, if aliens came down, they would be intelligent. What is, I don't get it.
I'm saying that it's similar to like the what was that guy's name? The Turing test. In that, like, his description of how to determine intelligence
Part
was
169. Music producer Phil Spector is widely considered to be a musical genius for his work in the 1960s with bands like the Beatles. But his much darker side was unraveled in 2003 when he murdered actress Lana Clarkson with a single gunshot wound to the mouth. According to the prosecution, Spector had previously pulled a gun on 4 different women when they didn't accept his advances, and he apparently took it to the extreme in this case. Phil's second wife, Ronnie Bennett, also alleged that he imprisoned her in his California mansion and subjected her to years of abuse. She eventually had to escape by jumping out of a broken window and running away barefoot. Ronnie was forced to surrender custody of her children in their divorce, claiming that Spector threatened to hire a hitman to kill her if she didn't. Spector's 2 sons later alleged that their father kept them captive as children, and that they were forced to perform simulated intercourse with his girlfriend. Phil was eventually sentenced to 19 years in prison, where he ended up dying in 2021. Part 169.
That's what I'm saying as an appeal to mystery. Rather than looking at the actual biology
was the first black market
right,
before that was discovered by Walt Disney. First black star to win an Academy Award. He was black, he wasn't black. I have no fucking idea what you're saying. I genuinely don't. And nobody pays any attention. Rather than looking at our own planet before anybody. Rather than Mickey Mouse was the first black. Rather than
the aliens.
Laurel, don't go anywhere, brother. This is
but what is the rather and?
He has a huge.
What are we examining when we're saying rather than? No,
5 classic rock musicians.
Rather than looking at our planet, we look to aliens. I get it, but
actress. She was mostly known for 80s cult films and had the most success.
La grabación de los ramones. La grabación de los Ramones. Well, obviously beside humans. Humans look beyond this earth.
It was Phil Spector, and he created what's called the wall of sound. And that's kind of where all music kind of developed into this whole...
What do you mean? Can you, like, stay on track with
Phil Spector was born on December 26, 1939 in New York City. He's known for being an eccentric music producer and convicted murderer.
Hey,
his father committed suicide when Phil was 10 years old. Tina Turner inducted him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1989. He wrote and produced some of the best songs and albums in music history. His wall of sound production was very influential. He layered multiple instruments on top of each other, creating a symphonic sound. Some songs he wrote or co-wrote are Be My Baby, Chapel of Love, and He Kissed Me, and You Lost That Love
stories came about
He
is
produced the Beatles, the
curious about
Ronettes, the
the out
Ramones,
there,
Ike and Tina Turner, and many others.
It's a cool,
He
I
almost
guess,
died in a car accident in
intellectual
1974
exercise
after
to think
being
about
drunk
what
in his
other
mission.
intelligences would
He was
look
obsessed
like.
with guns,
And
and
I
he'd
thought
often bring them into the studio. He treated his wife Ronnie Spector horribly. He was convicted of killing actress Lana Clarkson and spent the rest of his life in prison. He died from COVID complications in 2021. He was 81 years old.
In a practical, pragmatic sense, in a
synonym. Lana Clarkson was born on April 5th, 1962.
And number 1, Phil Spector.
It's a better bet to like wait for them to
Always Phil Spector's first all you're saying is that it's more likely that other intelligence, like human-like intelligence, is going to evolve on Earth rather than
was inspired by the words of his father's
greater than
after his father took his own life when Phil was just 9 years old. That loss shaped Phil's
possibly down so long
but as his career soared, his personal life spiraled into obsession and control. His wife Ronnie Spector had to escape their home barefoot just to survive.
This is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, I get that. So I was trying to ask you questions, and none of the questions seemed like none of the responses seemed to be coherent, or barely a response to what I was saying.
Known for creating timeless hits, but his personal life took a dark turn.
I didn't know which part you
In 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was found dead in his mansion.
And we got there.
The chauffeur testified that Spector had emerged from the mansion after hearing a gunshot stating, "I think I killed her." He then drove the limo down the street while Phil was still in the doorway and called 911. Spector would later state that he was the one who called the police. When the authorities arrived, Spector was arrested on suspicion of murder. The chauffeur testified that Spector had emerged from the mansion after hearing a gunshot stating, "I think I killed her."
February 3rd, 2003, legendary songwriter and producer Phil Spector shoots and kills actress Lana Clarkson. His chauffeur waiting behind the house later testified that he heard a popping sound, after which Mr. Spector emerged, a revolver in his hand, and said,
After one mistrial, Spector was convicted in 2009 of second-degree murder.
On this day in 2009, the prosecutor in the Phil Spector murder retrial told the jury he was a demonic man when he drinks and a very dangerous man around women, following the producer's conviction in 2003 for the murder of Lana Clarkson.
On March 24, 1958, Elvis traded his guitar for military fatigue and began serving Uncle Sam.
On this day in 1958, Elvis Presley began a stint in the U.S. Army where he served for 3 years. His serial number was 533-107-61.
One mistrial,
Known as the architect of the iconic Wall of Sound, Spector shaped the soundscape of the 1960s and beyond, producing hits that became cultural landmarks. Yet behind the studio got
Phil Spector's
Sitting here watching humanity for the past 3,000 years.
What if they're really smart, Andrew? What if they're like Ethan level smart, but they're just they have tentacles in their
been
buttocks?
watching us for the past 3,000 years and they have not stepped in to intervene. I think we ought to look at them as hostile.
Yeah, if they have the means to help us and haven't, that's a good question. But yeah, I would just look at them as potential. I mean, I don't think they would say that they have the same value that God has put on us, but I would certainly not just necessarily like kill them or try to do anything like that. Now, if they attack me, I'll kill them if we can.
Wait, what if they have the means, but it's just too expensive to do so, and they are perfect capitalists?
What if it's just like Star Trek? You know, the prime directive is to not interfere with lesser life forms.
Oh, without that part, no.
Laurel, Sam, can we segue into it?
Okay, but I think alien ethics is pretty interesting.
No, I've been coming back to it, but I've been wanting to talk to Laurel since the last time he was in here.
All right, Andrew, you get.
No, Sam, I promise you, dude. Let's come right back to this. But you're gonna want to hear Laurel here.
I love aliens. I love the alien story.
He loves aliens too, so he's down. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna do it all. We're gonna do aliens, electromagnetism, light. It's all coming. Yeah, Laurel's like, I've got my night schedule. Okay. All right.
Tyrone!
Listen, brother. We got a bunch of what I refer to. I call them God haters. Okay. But by that I mean they're atheists. They're atheists. I know. That's how I feel. Every time I think about them, I go, whoa. Okay. But they're up, and they basically say there's no God. They're like, there's no God. No, it's nonsense. Can you go ahead and help them see how there's a God?
Okay, so here's the thing. Throughout all of human history, all of human tradition, God has always been associated with the natural phenomenon. Whether you believe it or not, God has always been the sun, the moon, the rain, the stars. But for the most part, God has been associated with light. God has always been light. So when you think about this concept, you have to think along the line that man cannot explain something that he can't imagine, right? So that means in order for man to come up with a concept with God, he has to see something that gives gives him an idea of it. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's where knowledge comes from. So the truth of God is actually rooted in the physical phenomenon, the manifestation of the phenomenon that we call reality, right? So when we look through our human tradition dealing with religion and spirituality, light is always dealing with consciousness. Light is always dealing with illumination. Light is always associated with God. So when we look at electromagnetism in 2025, when we define light, it's electromagnetism. A photon is a traveling electromagnetic wave traveling through space. That's what light is. But if we study electromagnetism, then as atheists, you can get a better concept of what people are saying when they say God. You understand? When you talk about the boundlessness and the majesticness of God, just think about electromagnetism. Think about all the great things that electromagnetism has done, and understand that that's exactly what they're talking about. When they're talking about the creator, guess what? It was electromagnetism that created all matter in this reality. So without charge, without the negative and positive charge, and that's exactly what God is. God is a whole.
That's
you see what I'm saying? God.
Why should I worship it?
Nobody asks you to worship anything. True gods don't require worship. God don't need nothing from you.
Andrew disagrees with that, though. He does think that God.
That's his belief. That's his opinion.
Possibly infect fetal cancer.
You know what I'm saying? But your walk with God would be something totally different. Your walk with God would be similar to my walk. You see what I'm saying? Because I was almost an atheist too until I started studying electromagnetism, and I saw the intelligence. I saw the intelligence in charge, not just like people were talking to like some being, but it's real intelligence. Like if you ever see a charge self-organizes itself. Charge self-organizes itself. Like what gives it the intelligence to know to organize itself in these fields, right? Like and so like when we get to talking about like consciousness and things of that nature, these are the things that come to mind. You know, when you think about your brain.
How come none of this is written in any of the books, like about charge and stuff? Like, why other arbitrary information and not this information?
Been tested in humans. Never allowed to be given in humans because it causes permanent male infertility and causes cancer. It's called Tembexa. 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 Permanent male infertility, cancer, FDA approved, no problem, only tested in animals. This is the
so in other words, they're coming with smallpox next, is that what you're saying?
That's correct. And there was a smallpox outbreak or smallpox vial found in the Merck department in Pennsylvania. They said, oh, it's not smallpox in that vial. It was just labeled smallpox. Well, what the hell was it? Nobody will tell.
I remember the monkey story about that. It was, yeah.
Right, and then there were monkeys running around. And by the way, nitazoxanide, if you have long-term, you can treat hepatitis, get rid of hepatitis in the body using nitazoxanide, longer-term treatment. Isn't that interesting? We have an antiparasitic that is also an antiviral that can clear a person from with hepatitis. We may not even need the hepatitis vaccine. Isn't that interesting? And that's how important this nitazoxanide is.
Now, they wouldn't like that very much, would they?
That's why RFK needs to know about it, because we need to, there's something in the vials called adjuvants.
There are secret things inside the vaccine vials. There should never be anything secret in a vaccine vial that's mandatory. And RFK doesn't know some of these things, and we need to give him this information. He knows a lot. He knows way more than I do. But there are some little pieces of information some of us in this room and some of us everywhere have that we can share, and that's what this space is all about. And by the way, one other thing, there was something somebody talked about, the sexting issue. This is very important for our children. The bad guys,
Thanks,
the
Jim, for
intelligence
sharing all
agencies.
this. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. You're
No
awesome.
problem.
That you've given us
the
a
issue
word.
of pornography.
Thank you so much.
There's more. The issue of pornography. The intelligence agencies are the ones behind the pornography. And this is very bad for the kids because they think they found something secret when they're being targeted by the intelligence agencies. As soon as they click on these websites that were, like, there was this thing called RedTube. RedTube was run out of the Ukraine. What they do is when the kids would click on these videos, they would turn on their cameras and film them masturbating, and then they'd blackmail the kids and blackmail the adults with these videos. That is how the intelligence agencies out of the Ukraine work. That's despicable. And so, you've got to warn your kids about these websites and warn them that you're looking at your phone, you see that little dot up there. The intelligence agencies use a software called Pegasus that can film you. They can take control of your entire phone, make a duplicate of your phone, unlock your bank accounts. This is the level of stuff we have going on, and we need to stop it. We need to get our intelligence agencies. That's hopefully Kash Patel can fix the FBI and the CIA to become organizations that support and defend the United States, we the people of the United States, rather than taking our identities, taking our genetic background, and selling it to other foreign countries. And that's, by the way, that's what happened with 23andMe. 23andMe was hacked recently. They were hacked. All our data is stolen to another country. And then, all of a sudden, 23andMe is bankrupt. And they're shutting down 23andMe. Why? Because it was an intelligence operation. And it was there to get our DNA code. Because once you have somebody's DNA code, you can make a virus or some kind of parasite or whatever that is specific to that person and kill them. And then you send it out to everybody, and then it kills them alone. And that's why we need to be taking the prophylaxis, and we need to ban these. We need to ban these genetically specific, self-replicating bioweapons. Most countries have signed the Biological Weapons Treaty. The United States has signed it. That means we cannot make genetically specific biological weapons. And I encourage people to look at which countries have not signed the Biological Weapons Treaty or Convention, Biological Weapons Convention. It's very important, and we must encourage all six-sized countries to sign that Biological Weapons Convention, because only one of the six-sized countries has not signed it yet. And we need to respectfully ask them to sign it and disclose if they've created any genetically specific biological weapons. Okay, thanks. Sorry for noticing.
It's heavy. It's
I
necessary.
enjoy listening to him speak a lot, like at length. Honestly, you should have like a radio show or something. You know, like Alex Jones style, where it's just him kind of talking for an hour or something. That was really good. You got a real talent. But we got a hand raised. Let's get to Health Uncensored. How you doing, Health Uncensored?
I'm good. Thanks for allowing me to come up. I just thought I would share my 2 cents on the topic at hand and what I'm hearing. First and foremost, just my opinion. There's no absolutes in science, but things worthy of looking into. When it comes to parasitic infections, parasites are opportunistic. So they're not going to be a problem unless the immune system is compromised. And when it comes to treating parasites, It's not about taking prescription antiparasitics, ivermectin, and this, that, and the third. It's about regaining immune function, because your immune system will clear them on their own, unless there's something preventing that. Same thing with fungal infections, same thing with viral infections, same thing with bacterial infections. Any pathogen is opportunistic. So if someone's healthy, they have no fear of germs. Zero, none. They have competent innate immune function, and they have, physical barriers, whether it's their skin or the mucosal membranes. So kind of just want to put that out there, that anyone advising people, because there's people now on this platform that they're kind of running with the notion that things like ivermectin are a cure-all. It can cure cancer, it can cure this, that, and the third, and that's false. That's really, really dangerous, bad information. One of the worst things with prescription antiparasitics is that if someone has problems with the blood-brain barrier, which is becoming commonplace nowadays, people with chronic neurological inflammation, they have issues with blood-brain barrier, which basically protects anything that's in the bloodstream from coming into the brain. But make a long story short, if you take a course of ivermectin or prescription-grade antiparasitic, you run the risk of excitotoxicity. And we get into calcium channels and glutamate. And make a long story short, it could cause paralysis. I've read a lot into that. I've known people that have had serious problems. But anyway, let me be more concise. So parasites aren't the problem. Fungal infections, viral infections aren't the problem. Immune function is the problem. One of the best ways you can gauge your overall immune function is by taking resting body temperature. A healthy resting body temperature is going to be 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit right on the dot, or 37 degrees Celsius. If you're running lower than that, let's say you're in the 97s or 98.0 even, it means your immune system is compromised. You have metabolic disease, you have hormonal imbalances, and you have nervous system problems. And that's fact, 100%, right? Anyone listening right now, you can go into your bathroom, get a thermometer, take your temperature. Are you hitting 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit? Are you running colder? If you're running colder, your immune system is compromised.
But ivermectin fixes it.
What's that?
Ivermectin will fix it, though, right?
How so?
Well, hang on, Chris, please. Mute your mic. We're doing one at a time here, and Health Uncensored is finishing up. Health Uncensored, I just want to confirm for the audience. You're talking oral temperature, right?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, healthy resting body temperature. Anybody over the age of 50, in their 60s, they know this. They remember this from, their youth, their middle age. But that's healthy resting body temperature. So if you're running lower than that, you're running colder than that, your immune system is compromised. You've got underlying latent infections. You've got hypometabolism, right? You've got low basal metabolic rate, and you're in trouble. No one's talking about that because kind of people are too busy with the keys dangling in front of their face, tariffs and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and measles and whatever it is they're pumping on this platform, and people got to stay in the algorithm. They got to get paid. You got to stay on topic. But there's a lot of important things that aren't getting discussed, and that I don't mean to come off like an arrogant asshole saying that, but what I'm saying is true. But as far as RFK Jr. goes, I'm of the opinion that if he was a legitimate threat to the establishment, he wouldn't be in this position to begin with. I've, through this online thing and through medical research I've gotten involved in, I've gotten to know some of the people in his circle and have some interaction with them. And
well, Health Uncensored, please, I'm going to respectfully ask you to hold your opinions at this stage, because Augustus opened this space specifically to talk about the MMR comment that was being quoted by JFK, or sorry, RFK Jr., my apologies. And he works with his campaign and may be working with his office in DC. So we're not here to spread any rumors or provide any bad mouthing on that.
Not open
And
discussion. It's just kind of,
sure.
support the topic at hand.
Colostrum,
Don't say
and
anything at all.
I use colostrum.
Yeah, pretty
and I
much,
also
just pretty much
heard-
support the topic at hand, or don't say
I
anything
heard
at all.
about
That's exactly right. So why don't you take a fucking seat in the audience? Remove. Get the fuck out of here. Try to play with me.
Okay, Dr. Thomas, I know you raised your hand real quick. I think you wanted to respond to something that he said, and then we're going to go on to some ladies that have joined us.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. And
I didn't mean to cut somebody off.
Respectfully disagree a little bit with what he said. I mean, saying that saying that this is I agree with him that this is that we need to protect our immune system, protect our T cells and natural killer cells, and that's what Patrick Soon was talking about, Dr. Soon. But is it the idea that we can do it without? Sometimes, usually our body can do it ourselves, but when we have genetically engineered pathogens, genetically engineered parasites, and I sent him something called Q-fever, Coxiella burnetii, the international pathogen of mystery that Broken Truth tried to talk to Janet Woodcock about. She would not answer any questions about Coxiella burnetii because it's called the international pathogen of mystery and has been weaponized by the intelligence agencies. That's one that they've documented to be weaponized. And Q-fever, Coxiella burnetii, the treatment is hydroxychloroquine. Treatment is doxycycline. And if you take low doses early, it may prevent you from getting this pathogen. And Lyme disease, as we talked about before, Lyme disease is an engineered pathogen. And so to say that we don't need any other medications, well, maybe a perfectly operating immune system does. But most people that are walking around now that have been even not vaccinated, but exposed to the spike protein, have T-cell damage, specifically CD8 counts. And if you don't think you've had exposure to the COVID spike protein, check your CD8 counts. It's genetically, some people aren't targeted, so you won't have any damage. Some people are targeted and their CD8 counts are damaged, even though they've never been vaccinated. And that's the self-spreading that is so dangerous. We need to ban the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein in vaccine virus or self-spreading form. It's a dangerous pathogen. So thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
No, thank you for adding in some clarification and detail. I want to introduce T-Bird, another beautiful woman, vaccine injured.
Actually, I got to interrupt. I'm sorry, T-Bird. I don't think we're going to get to you tonight. I'm actually going to close the space down. It's been such a great discussion so far. I just want to end on a good note. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Angela, Destiny, for adding so much value tonight. And your support to RFK Jr. has been overwhelming, and it has definitely been felt and heard and echoed throughout the country tonight. You guys are all amazing. Babe, is there any final words you'd like to say?
Don't give up the ship.
Don't give up the ship. Coming here live and direct from your 215 Connect. Listen, I want to end.
Can I just tell Stephanie, thank you for helping Augustus develop a lifelong attitude change. I love it. I absolutely love it. Congratulations.
That was Dr. Angela.
Hi, Dr. Angela.
Hi. Thank you.
Hey, you probably know Augustus longer than I do, but how long you know Dr. Angela?
5 years.
Really? That's funny. So, yeah, no, I love him, and I think that he's more of himself than maybe he's ever been.
I agree. I can see it.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And yeah, she definitely helps with my bipolar episodes and keeps me grounded and level-headed and spiritually aligned. So I'm blessed. And speaking of spiritually aligned, I think we're going to end tonight's room with Luke 10, which is a passage about Jesus appointing 72 of his followers, the ability to commit, to perform exorcisms on people who are demonically possessed. And I think that's exactly what RFK Jr. right now is being tasked to do, is perform an exorcism on HHS. And it's very difficult. So let's all pray together in this passage, and this is one of my favorite ones. So here we go. After this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them 2 by 2 ahead of him to every town and place where he was about to go. He told them, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field. Go, I am sending you out like lambs among wolves. Do not take a purse or bag or sandals, and do not greet anyone on the road. When you enter a house, first say, 'Peace to this house.' If someone who promotes peace is there, your peace will rest on them. If not, it will return to you. Stay there, eating and drinking whatever they give you, for the worker deserves his wages. Do not move from house to house. When you enter a town and are welcomed, eat what is offered to you. Heal the sick who are there and tell them, 'The kingdom of God has come near to you.' And when you enter a town and are not welcomed, go into its streets and say, 'Even the dust of your town we wipe from our feet as a warning to you. Yet be sure of this, the kingdom of God has come near. I tell you, it will be more bearable on that day for Sodom than for that town. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles that were performed in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it will be more bearable for Tyre and Sidon at the judgment than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be lifted to the heavens? No, you will go down to Hades. Whoever listens to you listens to me. Whoever rejects you rejects me. But whoever rejects me rejects him who sent me." The 72 returned with joy and said, "Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name." Should I keep going? Should I keep going?
No, we can read the whole Bible.
No, I'm going to read the rest of the chapter.
Mod on to me.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Amen. All right, guys, catch you on the...
Dr. Benji, the game continues.
Hello, Dutch.
Hello. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Dr. John? What was that? That was some pretty good reading by, what's his name? The guy with RFK?
Yeah.
Who always promotes him. Yeah.
He loves
really
that Bible
enjoyed
verse.
that. Good reading.
He loves that Bible verse.
What's that Bible verse about?
What was it, Luke something? It was like, the harvest is plenty, but the reapers are few.
So, I was reading this article recently about the tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on with the whole Trump administration situation with tariffing all these countries. He's basically making himself the God Emperor of Earth and saying, "Hey, bow down to me, or you guys are fucked." That's how I see it.
Well, he's, there's buyers and there's sellers, and he's selling. A lot of people are gonna buy, and a lot of people just like him. Literally, like people around the world just actually like him. He's
He's a reality warper. Like he warps reality. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think people voted for him because they knew there was stuff about him in the casinos about how when they were bankrupt, the banks kept him on as like the president because they knew that he would be the best spokesman, like to try to sell the assets. So, that's his reputation, and I mean, it is what it is. There's just a lot of emotionally deranged people out there that essentially use him as the sacrificial goat to cast all of their projection onto him. He's technically, an orange Pepe. Because the Pepe is like the evergreen meme.
Do you see those two new SCOTUS rulings that happened in like the last 4 hours?
Mm-mm. What?
So Trump has every right to deport someone even if they're an American citizen. Yeah.
Yeah. They need due process.
Yeah. The court was 5-4. That bitch, cunt, Amy Comey Barron. The worst mistake Trump has ever done. Disgusting cunt.
Mitch McConnell. He is a reptile creature with many tentacles.
Yeah, she. You know what gave it away? Like, I knew it was a horrible pick of like the kids that she adopted.
I don't know. Who'd she adopt?
Some black kids from Africa.
Oof, she's one of those types of people.
That totally gives the tendencies away. Come on, like you're putting more sympathy. The Catholics have a term for this. It's called amano ordoros. Like, like the closest people around you should be the people that you should be caring about the most.
It's the culture that we live in. It's the programming that we live in that you just have to feel compassion for everybody because most people are victims in this life. So
puppets.
Yeah, they're puppets. They've been puppeted. They don't know it, and I think a lot of the reason why they do things like that is they maybe because like subconsciously they know they're puppets, and so like I don't know. It's a very strange thing. A lot of it is virtue signaling. So much of what you witness with do-gooders is virtue signaling. Like that's their branding. That's their marketing. And it's really a lack of intelligence and understanding. It's very strange, but that's life. Like it's really actual psychology, like real brain science, human science.
Well, I was reading this article by the Hudson Capital. Have you heard of them?
Mm-mm. I'm gonna go to the kitchen up, but I can hear in the background. I'll be right back.
Am I breaking up? I think I'm breaking up. Let me turn down the. Okay. What's up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up? Yes, I was just talking about you've never heard of the Hudson Bay Capitol?
No, I mean, I've heard of Hudson Bay.
So the guy who's writing this 41-page essay is Stephen Moran, and he's a former Hudson Bay senior strategist. He currently serves as the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. Previously, Dr. Moran served as senior advisor for the economic policy at the U.S. Department of Treasury, where he assisted with fiscal policy during the pandemic recession. Prior to the Treasury, Dr. Moran worked for a decade as an investment professional. Dr. Moran is also an economics fellow at the Manhattan